Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I will share with you my one card kit, 3 cards collaboration with my BFF Sintang Mayumi and our dear friend Nancy Lee. This time we will be using the limited edition card kit from Kindred Stamps. This is called Toy Box and it features characters from that super popular kids movie. I'm so excited to make cards from this kit, so I hope you enjoy this video. So for card number 1, I will be stamping all the characters from the stamp set on a Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. And I will be stamping this with a Memento Tuxedo Black ink since I will be coloring with Copic markers. I have sped this up quite a bit because there's a lot of coloring done. I will try to show all the colors I've used on the screen. So this time I'm just coloring the cowboy and his space friend because I will be using both of them on my first card. And after this one, I'll fussy cut them both. This first card is quite simple, but I made some mistakes and some boo-boos, and I didn't remove it from the video so you can see. Here's the fussy cut characters. So now I'm using my Memento Black marker to line the sides of these cut images. I am not super fond of fussy cutting, so this will help it look like it's perfect and seamless. So next I'll be using my C6 Stitch Circles die, and I'm just showing you my card panel, my white card panel here, and then this ink blended background that I've done a while back. I cut it out with that circle die, but later on will change my mind. I have this washi tape tube I got from Joann's a long time ago, and this is called Bandana, and it has a lot of different colors of the paisley pattern, and it kind of speaks cowboy to me, so I just thought it was fun to add it. So it's my first time to use washi tapes on my card. So here I have a white A2 size cardstock panel that I will be using to attach all the washi tapes. I have chosen the red paisley pattern, the blue paisley pattern, and I added some yellow and black pattern as well. So here I'll show you I changed the ink blended galaxy background. It became so busy with the washi tape background that I decided to just use a block cardstock and die cut it with Stitch Circle die. And I like that better. Now I'm just putting some double-sided foam tape on that circle die cut to create dimension on my panel. And I'm just removing the release paper. And then I will attach the 2 characters on top of that circle die cut. I will use my glitter glue to attach both the characters. I will use my Tim Holtz trimmer to trim the panel slightly smaller than A2, so about 4 by 5 1/4 panel. And I also changed my white card base to use a craft cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 side folding card base. So now I'm just using my glitter glue to attach this panel to the card base. And I'm gonna use this silver star embellishment I got from Michaels to finish off this front panel of my card. And for the inside of my card, I have this white panel again, and I'll just stamp the sentiment that says "Friends are for life" from the same stamp set Toy Box. And I'll use my rectangle stitch die to trim this out and then attach it to the inside of my card, and the card is finished. This is my card number 1. I love how this card turned out. It's so simple yet so fun because of the colorful background. For card number 2, I have stamped and colored off-cam multiple images of the super cute 3-eyed little alien. I use Copic markers again to color them and fussy cut them out. I also have this Lawn Fawn York Blossom stamp set, and I'm gonna stamp this claw machine on a Nina Solar White card panel using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, since I'm also gonna color this one with my Copic markers. And before I color this claw machine, I wanted to cut out the middle part of that image because I won't be using those tiny bears inside the machine. I will be replacing them with the three-eyed little aliens. So now I'm just using my scissors to finally cut out the middle part of the claw machine. And then I have another cardstock panel and trace the cutout part of the claw machine so I know where to put the little aliens later on. And I will use this penny slider die from Technic Tuesday on top of the machine. And I will also use a plastic from an old stamp packaging as the glass window for my claw machine. You can also use acetate for this one. And I am using double-sided tape to make sure that the plastic is adhered properly. So now I'll just remove the release paper from the tape and adhere the plastic to the window. So now I'm ready to die cut the slider part on top of my claw machine. I will use washi tape to secure the die on my panel so it won't shift when it goes through my big shot machine. And I'm using purple, pink, and gray Copic markers to color the claw machine. And I also stamp out the claw image twice. And I colored also with Copic markers and fussy cut them out. And I will use this for my slider. And I will use Shaded Lilac Distress Oxide to ink blend the background panel for the claw machine. So now I'll try to arrange all the little aliens along that blended background so it will look like they're inside the window. Next, I will attach the two claw images together and carefully place it in the slider die cut. Here, I'm just showing you how it slides from side to side. So now to attach these little aliens to the blended panel, I will use a Jennifer McGuire trick using a press and seal wrap from Glad. You can use washi tape also to do this, but I prefer to use this plastic wrap and put some glitter glue behind those little aliens, and I will carefully place them back to the panel. This just makes sure that I can attach them exactly where I want them to be since there are multiple images on top of each other. And I'll put some more glitter glue to those images that are kind of loose. I colored one of the alien images pink so it will stand out a bit, and I will attach this one to the claw as if it was the one who got chosen and clawed. I actually added a penny to the claw inside of the panel so it will be a little heavier and slide more smoothly from side to side. So now I'm just putting a doubled up foam tape on the sides behind the front panel to create a channel so the slider mechanism will work smoothly. Next, I'm using Spectrum Noir Clear Sparkle Pen to add shimmer to the back panel and the little aliens. Now I will remove the release paper from the foam tape behind the panel and attach the front panel to the back panel. I will stamp the sentiment that reads, "You have been chosen to celebrate," on the bottom portion of the panel. I will emboss this sentiment using white embossing powder on a black cardstock. I use my embossing buddy to remove static from the cardstock and brush off the excess powder. I am also using Versamark ink for this um, sentiment, and now I'm pouring a white embossing powder, and then I'll melt this one with my Wagner heat tool. And I will use my Tim Holtz trimmer to trim this sentiment strip before I attach it to my front panel. And I also added some foam tape on the sentiment strip to add dimension. And I will use this blue 110-pound cardstock that I got from Michaels. I think it's the Recollections brand, and I'm gonna make a top folding card base. I'm scoring it at 5.5 inch mark, and then fold it and then crease it with my Teflon bone folder. And before I attach this panel to the card base, I will add and stamp another sentiment on top of the front panel. And this is my boo boo number 2. I was confident that I will be able to stamp it clearly and perfectly, but I didn't because I didn't use my Misty. So when I stamp it, it didn't stamp very well. So my heart broke. So what can I do? I just had to fix it. So I restamp it again on a black cardstock and cut it into a strip and attach it on top of the claw machine. So I think that worked out fine instead of just tossing the whole card away. So now I am just attaching the panel to my card base with my glitter glue. So for final touch, I will just add some sequins that are included in the toy box kit, and I just added some purples and some greens randomly around the card panel. And this card is finished. So this is my card number 2. For card number 3, I already have these pre-colored stamp characters that I did earlier. I use my Copic markers to color the images. I will also use the MFT Stitch Triple Peekaboo Window Die on a white A2 size panel. I also picked a pattern paper from the kit, and I will use this cute yellow pattern paper for my background. I trimmed down the white cardstock to create a yellow mat around it. For the sentiment, I chose the one that says, "You're my favorite deputy." I will stamp this sentiment on a black cardstock and white heat emboss it. And then I will use one of the Everyday Sentiment banner dies from Lawn Fun to cut this sentiment into a strip. I will be making a super simple shaker card, so I have made a doubled up foam tape to put behind the white window frame. But first, I will put an old stamp plastic packaging on the window, then attach all the foam tape to create a well for my shaker bits later on. Next, I will use my embossing body again on all sides of the foam tape so as to prevent static and prevent the shaker bits to cling to the foam tape, and so it will shake more freely. And brush off the excess powder. Now I can put this chunky glitter by Recollections that I got from Michaels. I also added some bright red sequins in the middle window because that's where I'm planning to put the deputy. I want to highlight him because of the sentiment that says, "You're my favorite deputy." Now I'll be removing the release paper from the foam tapes, and I will use another sheet of clear plastic packaging to trap all the sequins. Here, I'm just showing you the clear plastic packaging that I'm going to use. And you can also use acetate if you have it on hand. I just prefer to use the clear packaging. I am adding liquid adhesive on the foam tape, so when I put this panel on the pattern paper, I will have more time to wiggle it perfectly into place. I was planning to put the three characters on each of the window, but I had a hard time placing them because it ends up covering the shaker window. So I decided to put just the deputy and his best friend Pony. I will attach the black sentiment strip with foam tape to add dimension on the bottom portion of the card to ground the characters and not have them floating. I will use a white A2 size side folding card base for this card. I will attach the girl character inside my card and also add some sentiments inside. It will read Howdy by the side of the girl and lassoing up some love in the middle using VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink. And then I'll just use my liquid adhesive to attach this finished panel on my A2 size card base. And to add more glitter and shine to the card, I will add some colorful jewels I have from Ink Road stamps. And finally, some Spectrum Noir glitter pen to both of the characters. So here are the three cards I made using the limited edition toy box from Kindred Stamps. I had so much fun playing with this box. Thank you again for joining me today, and I hope you like this video. And please don't forget to check out Sintang Mayumi's channel and Nancy's blog post for this month's collaboration. Thank you, and I hope to see you again on the next video. Bye!